good to be back in Pennsylvania. It's great to be in Steelers country. Even if, like the Bears, we're both doing a little rebuilding right now. It's okay. You know, these things gotta go in waves. Pittsburgh, I am here to ask you to vote. For your next members of Congress, Chris DeLuzio and Summer Lee, vote for them. For your next governor, Josh Shapiro. And for your next great senator, John Fetterman. In case you don't know, you can vote at your polling place on November 8th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And if you need more information, just go to iowavote.com. Find out where to go, make a plan. I'm looking back, but you gotta vote. If you have a ballot in your hand, get it to a drop box or your county clerk's office as soon as possible before 8 p.m. on election day. And then you need to get your friends and family to vote. Because we all have, Cousin Pookie, we all have Uncle Joe, they're sitting on the couch. Right now, as we speak, they're watching college football. And that's okay, except they've forgotten that they're supposed to vote. So you got to remind them. Take them with you when you go. Because this election requires every single one of us to do our part is that important. Now, I think it's fair to say that this whole country's gone through some tough times. We've been through some stuff. We're just now coming out of a historic pandemic. It wreaked havoc on families and schools, businesses, communities. Everybody was impacted. Some were impacted more. We had a new phrase, essential workers. That means workers actually who work. And some folks lost people they love. Probably some people in this crowd lost somebody they love. And the pandemic also highlighted, and in some cases made worse, problems we've been struggling with for years. An economy that works for folks at the very top, but not so much for ordinary people. Communities where too many kids are out of school and out of work and out of hope, and that sometimes leads them to violence and despair. And then just an erosion of civility and basic democratic norms. And you've got politicians who work not to bring people together, but to stir up division and to make us angry and afraid of one another just for their own advantage so they can take power. And all of this gets hyped up, amped up 24/7 by social media, and has decided it's more profitable to promote controversy, conflict, conspiracies, rather than facts. It was just a few days ago that a friend of mine, Paul Pelosi, was attacked in his own home. Somebody breaks into his house looking for his wife, Nancy. He's without. Thankfully, he's back home now. Let investigators do their job. But here's what's clear, Pittsburgh. This habit we have of demonizing political opponents, of saying crazy stuff, it creates a dangerous climate. And when you have people who are in leadership positions who promote or ignore over-the-top rhetoric, and then when there's an attack like this, they make light of it, they joke about it, then more people are going to get hurt. More than that, we violate the basic spirit of our democracy, the spirit of who we are as Americans. And by the way, it's not just politicians, whether it's out of malice or ignorance. We've seen recently big celebrities reposting vile anti-Semitic conspiracy theories online. And you don't have to be a student of history to understand how dangerous it is and how unacceptable it is. And I don't know when we decided that we were just going to believe everything we read on the internet. Here's a tip for you. If you read or see something online that has some grand theory about how some particular group, whether it's black folks or white folks or Jews or Catholics or immigrants or gays, if you read or see something that says they're the cause of all your problems, then it's safe to say it is garbage. It is a lie. It is dangerous poison. We've got to call it out and put an end to that kind of mindset. But unfortunately, it seems as if this kind of poison gets more and more attention. So I understand why people would feel anxious. I get why you might be worried about the course of our country. I get worried too. I understand why sometimes it may be tempting just to tune out. Just to watch football or HGTV or Great British Baking Show, whatever floats your boat. But I'm here to tell you, Pittsburgh, that tuning out's not an option. Sulking and moping, that's not an option. The only way to make this economy fair is if we, all of us, fight for it. The only way to save democracy is if we, together, fight for it. And it starts with elected people who know you, who see you, who care about you, who stood in your shoes. You did that 2 years ago when you sent Joe Biden to the White House. He's fighting for you every day. He's got your back. Doing everything he can to put more money in your pocket, to make our streets safer, to bring more good-paying jobs here to Pennsylvania. Now you need to do it again. Because while there may be a lot of issues at stake in this election, there is one basic question that you should be asking yourself right now, and that is who will fight for you? That's the choice in this election. Who will fight for you? Who will fight for working people who are struggling to pay their bills? You know, listen, inflation's a real problem right now. It's not just here in America, it's worldwide. And it has to do with the legacy of the pandemic. It wrecked supply chains, disrupted the economy. Then you've got a war in Ukraine that sent energy prices through the roof. So, you know, folks see grocery prices going up, gas prices going up. It takes a real fight on their paychecks. It hurts. I get that. But the question you've got to ask yourself is, who's actually going to do something about it? The Republicans like to talk about it, but what's their answer? What's their economic policy? They want to gut Social Security. They want to gut Medicare. They want to give rich folks and big corporations more tax cuts. By the way, don't boo. Vote. They can't hear you boo, but they'll hear you vote. Now, it should come no surprise that Republicans want to cut taxes for the wealthy and big corporations, because that's their solution to everything. When inflation's low, they say, let's cut taxes for the wealthy. If unemployment's high, let's cut taxes. When it's the reverse, they want to cut taxes on the wealthy. If there was an asteroid that headed towards Earth, they'd all get in a room and say, you know what we need? Tax cuts for the rich. I mean, it's nice if you got one answer to every economic problem. We got some students here. You remember when maybe you're more responsible than me. There were some times when I was in school where I did not study. And you go in and let's say there's a math test you didn't study for it. It'd be nice if you could just write down the same answer for every time. Just write down 8. And then you get an A. But you know what? That doesn't work in math and it doesn't work in economics. And that's why Democrats have an actual plan to take on the drug companies to lower prices, to pass laws to make housing more affordable, to make sure big corporations create jobs here in Pennsylvania instead of overseas. That's the choice in this election. That's what it's all about. There's a lot of talk about crime right now. You know, violent crime has gone up. But you know what? It went up over the last 7 years, not just the last 2. They don't talk about the previous guy. It's gone up in conservative rural places, not just cities. But the question is, who will fight to keep you and your family safe? Is it Republican politicians who want to flood our streets with more guns? Who actually voted against more resources for police departments? Or is it the Democratic leaders who work with President Biden to pass the first major gun safety legislation in 30 years? That's the choice in this election. Who will fight for your freedoms? Is it Republican politicians and judicial appointees who think they should get to decide when you start a family and how many children you have or who you marry and who you love? Or is it Democratic leaders who believe that the freedom to make these most personal of decisions belong to you, to every American, and not politicians in Washington? That's the choice in this election. Pittsburgh, who's gonna fight to make our democracy actually work for you? Republican politicians have promised if they get control of Congress, they're gonna spend the next 2 years investigating their political opponents. They've said it. Some of them have said they're gonna impeach President Biden. They're not sure what for, but apparently that's beside the point. How's that going to help you pay your bills? Or do you think you maybe stand a better chance of getting help and things improving if you've got President Biden and Democratic leaders who've worked together and sometimes have gotten Republicans to pass an infrastructure bill that creates new jobs? We're making healthcare and prescription drugs cheaper. Who've made unions stronger. Who've made the single largest investment ever in the fight against climate change. That's the choice in this election. Pennsylvania, you've got a choice between politicians who seem willing to say anything and do anything to get power, and people who see you and know you and care about you and share in your values, who want to make your lives better, this country forward, and bring people together. And let me be clear about this. This hasn't always been a partisan thing. One of the tough things about campaigning, it makes it sound as if, oh, you know, it's blue team versus red team, and that's all I care about. Listen, my favorite president ever was a guy named Abe Lincoln. He helped found the Republican Party. There used to be GOP members who championed progress in civil rights and rule of law. But, you know, I've got to look at the facts. And the facts are, these days, just about every GOP politician seems obsessed with 2 things. They want to own the libs. Let's get the lids. And let's get Donald Trump's approval. We need Donald to really, hey, what do we say about, oh, don't move now. But that's their agenda. They're not interested in actually solving problems. What they want to do is make you angry and then find somebody to blame. Because that way you may not notice they've got no answers of their own. John's opponents, he has answers, they're just the wrong ones. You want to lose weight? Take raspberry ketone. Got leg cramps? Try lavender soap. Want to prevent dementia? Palm oil, a miracle solution. I mean, never mind, none of these things have been proven to work. Some things might be harmful. You just gotta believe, and then hand over your credit card information. Snake oil, man. Listen, it's easy to joke about Dr. Oz and all these quack remedies he's pushed on TV, but it matters. It says something about his character. If somebody's willing to peddle snake oil to make a buck, then he's probably willing to sell snake oil to get elected. You deserve better than somebody who's just trying to make a quick buck. Somebody willing to say anything to get attention. You deserve somebody who knows you. You deserve somebody who stood side by side with you. Somebody who will work every day and fight for you. Somebody who's actually from Pennsylvania. You deserve somebody like John Fetterman.